We had no intentions of elevating Taiwanese food or misrepresenting it.
Our goal was just purely to introduce Taiwanese food in the city.
We're just trying to respectfully articulate our impression. And I feel a great responsibility to be careful about that because I'm also representing my business partner, Josh, and he's lended an extreme amount of faith and trust in me to do so. And we've been really lucky with the neighborhood and how people have received it.
We met at a party maybe like 7-8 years ago, and I don't really have any experience with food service, but I did do this Taiwanese shaved ice pop-up for summer with my mom, and I definitely had the bug in me, I guess, so to speak, and meeting Trigg was really a huge blessing in many ways.
I mean, we definitely empowered each other. I didn't think I was ready to open and operate a restaurant, and certainly couldn't have even thought about doing so without Josh. We had a pretty simple goal, and that was to bring our experiences eating Taiwanese food in Flushing to our neighborhood in Brooklyn and cooking the food that we had been researching and eating so much.
It kind of took us wanting to open this restaurant for me to actually dive in more with Trigg about learning about Taiwan, its food, its political history.
The fly's head was one of the first dishes that we had. It's a predominantly vegetable dish seasoned with little unctuous chunks of pork and pork fat, and it's very balanced. It's pungent, a lot of garlic, chives, and the fermented black beans and chilies, and it's a really nice dish. We've learned that it has Szechuan roots, but we experienced it at this Taiwanese restaurant. So that is just a good example of the cultural melting pot or the culinary melting pot that Taiwanese food can represent. It's one of those dishes that taught us a lot.
That's one of the dishes that I really wanted to show off. That really just made me, think about things that I never thought about growing up. When we go to Taiwan, my mom has pretty much been on the receiving end of our arrival, and we'd go to the market. And the first time she brought us there, we had the jian, which is the oyster omelette. Just kind of arriving in a foreign place and having this almost foreign dish, in front of you, being so good and delicious was just truly a great experience just to look back on, anytime. I think Trigg particularly liked the dish and wanted to do something with it.
At the time when we opened, you definitely didn't see oyster omelets on the menus in the city, and so it was a fun dish for us to explore. It's got pork and oysters. It's a sweet potato starch slurry. It's cheesy almost. The textures and the flavors and even the gravy, it's all very true to what we experienced in Taiwan. And every time I make the oyster omelet, I think exactly about this lady that that makes it on Guoha Street. And it's just one of those dishes that we do mimic and channel that kind of memory every time. So it's just a fun, meaningful dish for us.
I first experienced danzi noodles in Tainan as well.
Basically, fishermen during typhoon season started selling noodles, and danzi refers to the shoulder stick, shoulder bowl noodles. It's very easily recognizable. It's a small bowl of noodles with a single shrimp on top. The shrimp too sparingly, as it was typhoon season. It's hard to go fishing.
A little bit of broth, not much, maybe covering half of the noodles.
Yeah, it's it's not a big bowl of ramen, but it's it's definitely a brothy noodle dish. I think soups and broths are one of the best parts about cooking. So it's definitely a little different than the humbler version that you would have at a restaurant in Tainan. Similar to the oyster omelette, it has a deep nostalgic and historical connection to Tainan, where Josh's mom's family's from. So it's an important dish for us.
It's just heavenly. It really makes me proud of being from Taiwan.
Our first time to Taiwan, I was trying to take in everything I possibly could.
The first time we went, it was all within the scope of spending time with my family and mostly to just experience and just be there. I think us having that as a priority really goes beyond any kind of food tour does, because the focus is more about the feeling, and the rest can come later.
My goal is like to really just connect and like understand Taiwanese food and like its connection to the people and how the food is incorporated in everybody's daily routine and social culture. And me being the chef and having a prominently new American culinary background, there's definitely going to be some creative license taken, but we always prioritize, contextualizing the history of the dish or kind of understanding that before we're taking it in a different direction. And building associations with the language we use on the menu is important for us because, when we opened, a lot of folks would come in here and they would ask for pad thai or, had no idea what Taiwan was, or maybe had heard of it. Nobody's trying to maliciously call us what we're not. But, in our minds, if we can build associations with dishes on our menu and have people think, oh, that's Taiwanese, then that's a small win for us because, at the end of the day, Taiwan and its political history is complex. And, if we can kind of promote Taiwanese cultural and culinary identity, that's a success.